Yo, what is good, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP. Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. Happy Friday evening, folks. Hope y'all had a great week at work. Y'all enjoying the rest of y'all weekend, watching some NBA playoffs, doing some fun things, man. I got a guess on the show. His name is Mitch Kovsky. He is the co-founder of the Hardcore Sports Network. Knows his ball, knows his wrestling. What's up, man? How you doing? It's a pleasure to have you on the Sports PSP pod, man.
Hey, dude, you and I have been talking for months. We've been trying to get this done. I've been busy with my stuff, hardcore sports, as the Philly sports now. So I got a lot of hands in different baskets, but I'm here. I'm here. Thank God I did not stream the Knicks and Pacers tonight. Thank God. Well,
No,
other
no, no.
I would have lost it.
No. We don't want you to do that. And of course, we cannot start the Sports PSP podcast without my main man, Undisputed World Champ. Please go check out his podcast every Thursday nights, 9 p.m. on his channel, his YouTube channel. Make sure you please like and subscribe to him on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and so much more, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Like I always say, the highlight of Friday night, the Sports PSP podcast, man. So it's always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be here, man. Thank you for having me all the time, PSP.
Always. And shout outs to Columbus, Georgia, the greatest city out there in the world. I'm quite sure y'all having beautiful weather as opposed to Jersey right now, 49 degrees outside and temperatures. Don't worry, temperatures will begin to rise tomorrow. They'll probably be in the 60s tomorrow. And also, on a personal note, for the beautiful woman out there, happy Mother's Day. Hope y'all doing some shopping for the mothers. Um, Thank y'all for all the sacrifices y'all made for us as sons and daughters. Thank y'all for doing everything y'all can. Happy Mother's Day. Take your mother to either church, shopping at the mall, dinner, whatever the case may be. Spend some time with some family members. Spend some time with your mom. So I want to add on that. But let's talk about the NBA playoffs, man. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I thought that it was going to be 1-1. Anthony Edwards had the game of his life, game one. He scored like 43.7 rebounds. Game two, it was reported Rudy Gobert did not play because he wanted to see the birth of his first child. And congratulations to Rudy Gobert and everything else with him. They demolished the Denver Nuggets in game two. It was like what, 106-80? And Mitch, I'm gonna let you go first, man. What are your thoughts about this series? Do you think that the series is over for the Nuggets and or whatever it is that's going on?
So for me, honestly, in the beginning of the year, like I told you before we went live, I had Denver versus Boston in the NBA Finals set and done. Now I got Timberwolves and the Knicks in my finals right now. And I'm just saying, it's a different ball game with the Minnesota. They have their guy Anthony Edwards, a new face of the league. I'm sure we'll talk about that as well. Carl Anthony Towns still putting up buckets. Not a lot of people are talking about that. And then you got to talk about the bench unit with this squad, man. The bench makes a whole lot of difference. And just Denver just not there. They're just not there. They're not prepared for this kind of ball with Minnesota right now. You see what Jamal Murray did. He got fined 100K for throwing, what was it, like a tower or something at the
I think it
refs
was
or
like a
something?
heat pack or something.
Can you imagine if he, like Michael Porter Jr., slipped on that? Can you imagine? Like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have been suspended, not fined 100K. He should have been suspended for a game or two. I mean, come on, let's be real on that. But yeah, they're not ready for Minnesota ball, man. They're not ready. It's plain and simple.
Big Champ, talk to me.
Hey, man, look, people can say what they would like. This is my hot take. That's arguably the best suffocating defense I've seen in a game since the 2004 Pistons, when they played my Los Angeles Lakers in that NBA Finals. That is some of the best defense you're ever going to see. And without their perennial rim protector, Rudy Gobert, at the helm. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was the first to think, hey, man, they don't have Rudy Gobert, going to be a lot of easy buckets for Jokic that night. A lot of guys attacking the rim that night. So, and for them to win without their best rim protector, that's nothing short of amazing. So, got to give a lot of credit, man. 40 minutes of hell defense, reminiscent of the great Roland Richardson. Hey, some of the best you ever want to see. Like I said, we haven't seen any defense like this since the 2004 Pistons, man. And that's saying something. If you look at the team, it's pretty much identical. Because if you really think about it, Anthony Edwards is their Chauncey Billups. Yeah. If you really think about it, Karl Anthony Towns is their Rasheed Wallace. If you really think about it, Rudy Gobert is their Ben Wallace. So, and then they got players coming off the bench. It is constant pressure coming at you. It's constant pressure coming at you. Constantly. They mean you at half court, taking you there. I mean, so, man, it is some amazing defense that's being played, man. I got to tip my hat to not only the scoring of Anthony Edwards, but that defense as well, man.
Absolutely, man. And when I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, if they can keep this up, now again, I still have the Denver Nuggets win the series because, in the words of Rudy Tomjanovich, never underestimate the heart of a champion. But these past two games, they are just getting embarrassed. There was even one play, I think it was Alexander Walker, who's guarding Jamal Murray, and he's laughing at him. He's laughing at him because he's like, you can't do nothing against me and this team. And they are putting pressure on Jokic. And I've said it before, Jokic is my favorite player. I believe Jokic rightfully so deserves of the league MVP. They are doing everything they can to contain this team. And when I look at Anthony Edwards, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, one of the best 3-and-D players that we have in today's game, it doesn't matter. You can't stop Ant as far as attacking the basket, transition. He's the mid-range game. He's improved so much. The three-point game, his passing, his playmaking. He's adding different components, and it's just, my God. That's why a lot of people compare him to Kobe and MJ. And speaking of it, could he be the face of the NBA? Because I thought at one point I thought it was Luka as far as the face of the NBA, because there are a lot of comparisons between Luka to, of course, one of my favorite basketball players, Larry Bird. When you look at Anthony Edwards, some Kobe, some MJ as far as with the mid-range game, size, athleticism. And the best thing about it, he's 22, 23 years old. And he hasn't even reached his potential yet. So I'm going to let Champ go first, because Anthony Edwards, where did he go to school?
UGA, the University of Georgia.
I'm going to let you go first, Champ. How good can Anthony Edwards be?
I think his ceiling is high, but people need to pump their brakes on trying to give him a title so quickly. I think the biggest, and you heard me talk about this on another show last night, where I believe people build people too quickly to be something that they're not. There's only one Michael Jordan. There's only one Kobe Bryant. And in the great words of Grant Hill, let me be the first me. And for the Timberwolves to have a player like that, a player that they haven't had since Kevin Garnett, maybe. Can't really say Kevin Love because he never made it to the playoffs.
Nah.
So for them to have a player that great and a team that great since
KG.
Yeah. You have to tip your hat. So I say let him grow into it. Let him grow into it. And I hope this is not a case of, much like Derrick Rose, unfortunately, too much too quickly. Because we all seen that story and it doesn't end well. I say he could be the face of the NBA. I mean, he has all the intangibles. And I hate to say this, I don't think that the American public is anxious to make a European player the face of the NBA.
Right.
That's how come I think Jokic and Luka gets disrespected so much. So I would say he has the potential to be the face of the NBA, but let him grow to be what he is. Let him grow. Don't give him too much too quickly, because we've seen how the story ends with that one. Let Anthony Edwards be the first Anthony Edwards. And for you to be doing this for a small market team, keep in mind, Minnesota is not a huge market. It is a small market team. So this is good for the NBA, man. And for you to be in the NBA, be the face of the NBA on a small market team, he has every potential in the world to be that. But let's stop giving him comparison to Michael Jordan and Kobe, and let him be the first him.
I agree. Which, by the way, he even admitted in an interview with ESPN's Malika Andrews. Before I let Mitch have the floor, shout out to Casual. Go check him out on his podcast. Also, he was on Champ's podcast last night. Of course, when it comes to basketball, as far as anybody that I know, nobody knows it better than Casual. And of course, he responded, "What's the word?" We just discussing about Anthony Edwards facing the NBA, stuff like that. But Mitch, I'm gonna let you go. Do you think people, particularly the media and the public, need to pump the brakes as far as Anthony Edwards being the face of the NBA?
Oh, of course, 1,000%. He's only been in the league, what? His third year in the league right now? Third year? Four? Okay, it's his fourth year. Okay. Still young into this game. The only reason you're doing this is for clicks, bro. We're talking about it beforehand. We're content creators, part of the media. I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you draw attention to your product. I get it. But with my brand, you got to be realistic and you got to call it where it is. Stop and all that stuff. So for Anthony Edwards getting all this praise for Minnesota, hallelujah. Great for you. Awesome. Anthony Edwards, I love. People are forgetting about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, bro. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he deserves to be up there in that conversation as well. Look at what he's doing with the Oklahoma City Thunder right now. I mean, come on. You got to give that guy credit. He was in a conversation for MVP. Now they're just going to go, oh, Anthony Edwards is this guy. That's my point. We can go in so many different directions. Anthony Edwards is one of them. Shai, Luka. Like, this talent right now, this era we got, you can't just make it one guy. You just can't. You got to look at everyone here. But with Anthony Edwards,
I think we lost you, Mitch.
I'm good.
Okay.
Props to him, but I said this before and I'll say it again. You guys like Hot Take Kenny? If LaMelo Ball had a better team, we would have had a different conversation. LaMelo Ball has all the intangibles as well. Teamwork, scoring, he's got that persona, he's got that likability. If LaMelo Ball had a better team, we would have had a different conversation right now.
When I look at Anthony Edwards, I remembered I had a conversation with Champ, Casual. Shout out to Maria No Best. Some of the other people that have been on the Sports PSP pod, and you can go check them out on their content, whether on YouTube, TikTok. Also, go check out Casual and Maria from FYF Sports Debates, because I know they got a podcast over there. I said I would take Anthony Edwards over Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. It ain't even close, because when I look at it, he's the size, the athleticism, the athletic ability, the scoring, and he's improved as a shooter. And shout out to Casual again. He said Mitch is cooking, referring to Donovan Mitchell. And by the way, he was cooking game 2 in the other game against the Boston Celtics. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But when I look at Anthony Edwards, man, he has the package. And he can also defend. And I don't think he gets enough credit as a defender, because you look at collectively with the Minnesota Timberwolves with Jay McDaniels, Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, who won 6th Man of the Year, and can also play defense as well. So let's not act like he's some type of slouch on defense. He can actually defend. He's 6'4", 6'5", very athletic, can defend. I saw the type of defense he was going up against Jamal Murray. And the thing is, we got to stop as fans and as content creators. We got to stop putting some of these athletes on such a huge pedestal.
Agreed.
There,
1000%.
Anthony Edwards is in year 4. Even Anthony Edwards said it himself. Let me be the best Anthony Edwards as I can possibly be and go forward. So I think if he can do that, he'll be fine. And then Casual responded, LaMelo Ball definitely would be more beloved if he were on a contending team. Yes,
Yes.
because you look at the Charlotte Hornets historically, they haven't been in when is the last time they've been to the playoffs? Since what, 2014? And historically, even with Michael Jordan's ownership, although he's no longer the owner anymore, they have still struggled to this day. I think if you put LaMelo on any other team that's in desperate need of a point guard, yeah, LaMelo could definitely provide that spark. But when I look at Ant, I know, Champ, you don't like using the term dog, and has that in him. But the thing, I don't mind it. He can back it up. And as long as you can back it up, hey, that sells, that resonates to me. And he's just gotten better. And if you want to make an argument, he's the best player under the age of 25 that you would like to build a franchise around with, that's conceivable.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the other young players in the NBA, okay, maybe outside of LaMelo or somebody else, would you like to build? Could you make a better argument for Anthony over Anthony Edwards?
The only player I can make conversation for. How old is Luka now?
Luka's 25 now.
Oh, he's 25. Dang.
Yeah.
So if you're like 24 or younger, I mean, Anthony
I
Edwards
can
just come
if
off
you
that
would say
list.
Luka under 25, yes, I would take Luka.
Yeah, I think we all would. Without a doubt, we all would. Shea, I would take Shea Gilgeous-Alexander over there. I would take Luka if you want to throw him in there, but it's mostly Anthony Edwards and Luka. Those are the top two. And Donovan Mitchell going bid outside. Isn't he like 27?
Yeah, he's in the mid to late 20s now.
Yeah. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, if he was younger, whoo, I would take him like closer to Anthony Edwards. I think maybe even above. I would take that.
All right. Let's talk about, speaking of Donovan Mitchell, as Casual mentioned, the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Boston won game 1. Cleveland got back in game 2. As Casual mentioned, Donovan Mitchell is cooking. I still have the Celtics win this series, Champ. But our guy, Luis Knows Tunes, he has criticized Jason Tatum a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong, Champ. He thinks Jason Tatum is overrated, either the most overrated superstar in the NBA currently. He was actually even making an argument that he would take Jalen Brunson over him. And look, Jason Tatum, he's had moments in the playoffs in which he has struggled, but I'm not sure I'm going to take I would definitely not take Brunson over Jason Tatum. Even though Jalen Brunson has been playing absurd out of his mind in these playoffs. I mean, 4 consecutive games, scoring 40 or more points. But outside of that, over Tatum, nah, I just don't see it. I mean, what he's been doing for the New York Knicks has been unbelievable, but not to the point of Jason Tatum. What's your thoughts about that?
I will say this, man. To be honest with you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Mitch Kofsky is cooking about LaMelo. Okay.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time.
My fault. I apologize.
Yeah.
The thing about Jason Tatum is, it's not that he's overrated. You just get some of these spurts of inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of reminds me of how Pippen was the second season without Jordan. You'll have this superstar performance one game, and then the next 2 games, it's like, what the hell is that? That's why I think Louise is saying he's overrated. As far as Jalen Brunson is concerned, I like what he's doing for New York. Because when the mecca of basketball is winning, the league is a whole lot better.
Yeah.
But let's not kid ourselves. if I'm starting up a franchise today, I'm taking Jason Tatum. Hey, there's a team right now 100 miles away from me who would love to have Jason Tatum right about now.
Yeah.
In the Atlanta Hawks. So, I mean, but back to my point, that's why I think that people say, especially my main man, Louise, shout out to Louise, by the way. That's why I think he says that, because you'll see these spurts of greatness, like that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. And then all of a sudden, you'll see about 2-3 games where he's looking like the average Joe. I mean, and sometimes it's to the point where he looks lethargic at a certain point. And it's just like, I think that people hold him to a standard. And I think he should hold himself to that. It's like, man, we know you're better than this. It's kind of like what I always say, PSP. You know football better than that. With Jason Tatum, we know you can play better than that. We know you're a superstar. Why don't you take that mentality that Kobe, that your favorite player had, and take yourself into? I think the Kobe connection has something to do with that as well, because he was connected to Kobe as well. And the fact that he doesn't always have that. It doesn't always seem like he has that Mamba mentality at a certain point. And sometimes he'll ease back. And a lot of times, in my humble opinion, he doesn't rise to the occasion. Sometimes he just eases back. Like I said, it's reminiscent of how Scottie Pippen was the second year without Jordan before he came back in February. It's just like you'll see a great game from it. That's the superstar. That's the Hall of Famer. And then all of a sudden, about 2-3 games in a row, okay, where you at, Jason? And that's why I think he's overrated. Hey, man, but as far as Jalen Brunson, he has the tenacity. He has the gift. But there's no way I'm taking him over Jason Tatum, man. And my thing is, he was good. He's good. And I honestly think this. It could be a hot take, but I honestly think this. A lot of his ability is being amplified because he's in New York. And New York hasn't had anything in a long time.
Mm-mm.
And, the best
and
guard.
From Jersey. And
the best guard we've seen in New York, arguably since Earl the Pearl and Walt Frazier, is John Starks. And that's saying something at a certain point. So you got to think, he's doing a lot for New York. And, hey, because he's in New York, a lot of his players being amplified because people want to see America succeed.
He from Jersey, too. He from New Brunswick.
Oh, dirty Jersey, hunt him down.
Yeah, I went to school with his. I went to school with Leon Rose's daughter, so they're like very close with our whole family. Like that's why they got DiVincenzo. That is why they got Josh Hart. They're all close with everybody. And here's a hot take. They're gonna get Mikal Bridges in a couple years. Somehow, some way, they're gonna get Mikal Bridges too. I mean, it's common sense at this point.
Mitch, what's your thoughts about just the playoffs between the Celtics and the Cavs or the Pacers versus the Knicks?
So really quick, I want to talk about what Camp brought up with Jason Tatum and his mentality. You know who that benefits though? Jaylen Brown. You look at what Jaylen Brown is doing in the fourth quarter in all these games. And I'm good friends with Celtics content creators, Celtics fans, and they would trade Tatum now because he doesn't even step up. They think Jaylen Brown, they would say Tatum and Jaylen Brown is their number one because he steps up when it matters the most. And Tatum's just like there for the ride. And I hated that. I hate it. Your crown is like the top guy in the draft. Sixers could have drafted you, but that's besides the point. You're crowned, and now you're just sitting there getting a paycheck, not performing. It sounds like a little Ben Simmons-esque, but he's better than Ben Simmons. But you guys get my point. It benefits Jaylen Brown a whole bunch more. And Jalen Brunson over Tatum, that's kind of iffy because they only go for the right now. They don't think about the past. They only focus on the right now, then they go on and move forward. Brunson's hot. The Knicks are hot right now. That's the main thing they're talking about. And the Celtics are getting kind of pushed to the side. So that's why there's another take like Brunson over Tatum. And a good friend of mine actually said he would take Tyrese Maxey over Tatum. And I'm like, bro, I had a huge debate over that with him at lunch. I'm like, we're not talking about that. We're not. He's like, I'll put my money on it that Maxey will be better. I'm like, no, I'm letting you keep your money. Keep your money. I don't want it. I don't want it. Keep your money. But yeah, like Brunson, if he's a dog, but it's Jaylen Brown who people need to recognize in these playoffs, and Derek White. No one's talking about Derek White at all.
He's been playing spectacular.
He's so underrated. I love his game, bro. The defense, he's going to be all NBA defensive team first. I'm telling you right now, this guy is that damn good, and I can't believe they got him and Drew Holiday on that team. I mean, oh my living God. That team is good defensively. So.
Yeah. When I look at Jason Tatum, in my opinion, the best comparison, champ, can't believe I'm saying this. He's the younger version of Anthony Davis. Because there are times Anthony Davis, he'll give you some great performances. AD will give you some 30 and 15s. He'll give you that. And then he'll give you some lackluster performances. And like you said, champ, I know you're better than that, AD. And you would know, champ, because you are a Lakers fan. Even though you're from Columbus, Georgia, you love yourself some Lakers. AD this season, to his credit, he played well. 24 and 12, played 76 of the 82 games this season. He played well in the playoffs, no shame against Jokic. And when I look at Jason Tatum, what I would love to see him win a championship, but I would love at moments, I would love for you to step up more. Because clearly, when you look at that draft class in 2017, and I would know I was at that draft back at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Yeah, I have connections.
Send them my way, bro. Send them my way. The grant is 2 nights this year.
My father, my stepfather, we saw Jason Tatum drafted 3rd overall, and when you look at him, his game. I mean, offense, I love his mid-range game. He needs to settle more with the mid-range game than he does with the three-point game. Even though he's improved as a three-point shooter, I love his mid-range game. He's gotten better, like with the passing and the playmaking, the defensive side of the court, the athleticism. Jaylen Brown had to step up this season considering the type of contract that he signed. Was it a 5-year, $300 million type of contract? Ooh. So Jason Tatum is going to get that type of money even more. And when you look at the Celtics this season, they made some big moves. You know, the Drew Holiday trade, you know, they added Kristaps Porzingis. When is Kristaps is going to come back? Only time will tell. But would I take Brunson over Tatum? No. I think Brunson has been playing tremendous, and he played well last year in the playoffs. Still, there are much more components Jason Tatum brings to the table as far as like with the defense, the athleticism. But if you want to make an argument, Jalen Brunson getting buckets, and especially what he does in the playoffs, I can understand that. I mean, I just love his ability, the step back shot, and he's a lefty, so he's not like most like right-handed players. But when I look at when I look at it all day, it's just Jason Tatum because of the athleticism, the defense, and there have been times Jason Tatum, to his credit, he has stepped up. Last year in the Eastern Conference semifinals, I'm sorry, Mitch, against the Philadelphia 76ers.
I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
The first 3 quarters, he didn't play particularly well, but in the 4th quarter, he stepped up. And in Game 7, didn't he score like 50 or more points in that game?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have seen Jason Tatum at times step up. I just think, I still think he's the better player, but he doesn't need to play like he doesn't need to score like 40 or 50 points, although it would be great. Derek White, he's very underrated and he plays very well, particularly in the playoffs. He did that well last year as well, particularly in the Eastern Conference Finals against Miami. So I just think, and it's also to the Boston Celtics, from Ime Udoka to now Joe Mazzulla, and I think Joe Mazzulla is a good enough head coach. I think the Boston Celtics have great structure. I think this has to be the year they have to get to the NBA Finals. And if you come up short, I don't know what to tell you.
Nah.
So go ahead.
And here's another thing, too. When Brunson got injured in that first quarter last game, he was nowhere to be found. Then he came back, stepped up, and it was just like, where's Tatum at? So I can understand when it's a clutch standpoint, Brunson's got that by a mile. Brunson's got
Right.
that heart. And everyone's talking about that because that historic Villanova run. That's another
Yeah.
reason why they keep on talking about Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo. All of us Philly fans can't stand Villanova now. We can't stand them. We hate the school now. So I'm just saying, man, it's about the heart. It's about the clutch. Tatum doesn't have it, sadly.
Mhm.
The only time I did see it, his rookie year when he dunked on LeBron. That was the only
Oh,
time
yeah.
I saw it.
Oh, you're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals in Game 7. Yes.
That's the only time I've seen it.
And by the way, speaking of that, that was the year in which Kyrie in his first year. It also goes to show you that they can go far.
Yeah.
And that was with Jason Tatum as a rookie, Jaylen Brown in his second year in the NBA, Marcus Smart in year 4 in his career.
Yep.
So they have like a nice young nucleus and they just know how to develop talent. Before I move on to the next subject, you got your boy Bruce Harper saying hi,
That's-
Mitch.
That's
And of
my
course,
guy, man.
And then we got another dude right here, Chad Schrader.
Yeah, that's
So,
my
you
guy,
know, right-
Chad. Yeah, the only reason he calls me that because I cannot stand Orange Cassidy. Like I can't stand him, so he calls me that.
Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got the revenge last night, game 2. What's your thoughts about that series as well? Whoever wants to go first.
All right, Champ, you want to go first? I'll go after.
Hey, I will say this, man. People may argue me down, but this is the best Kyrie I have seen since that 2016 season with him and LeBron.
Yep.
He is playing lights out. And that Ramadan performance was one of his best performances. I mean, for him to play like that, and he hadn't had any food or drink from sun up to sundown, was flat out amazing. And he's been playing lights out. I mean, everybody knows that he's working on a contract, so we have to acknowledge that he's trying to get another max contract before he finally calls it a career. So let's acknowledge that. But he's working great with Luka, man. I haven't seen him, he had his spats in Brooklyn. He had his spats in Boston, places like that along the way. But this is the best and most focused I've seen Kyrie. So big ups to Kyrie because he's really, really helping out that team, man. He's really, really helping out that team.
Mitch.
Agreed 1,000%. I mean, Kyrie just on a different level right now. Luka is on a different level right now. I didn't think they were going to be like this at all. I didn't think, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And that's where Brunson came into play when he was over there a couple years ago. And now people are like, who's Brunson when you got Kyrie over there? Like, Kyrie's that difference maker. And they have that front court for the defensive help. So that helps as well with Derek Lively and all those guys. So, shout out to the Mavericks, man. They're here for a fight. I think that series is going to go to a game 7. I don't know who's going to take it, but it's going to go to the game 7. And
I got Dallas winning that series.
You got Dallas?
Yeah.
Look, a couple of years ago, we
I
did
gotta
see them torch the Phoenix Suns a couple of years ago when they had the
Yep.
number 1 seed. So it wouldn't be a surprise. Not to mention, this is a young Oklahoma City. This is like the youngest team to have the number 1 seed in NBA history.
Yeah.
When I look at Luka, what he's going to do, but not just that, Jason Kidd. Having a Jason Kidd on the team that can help this team, that actually says something. And I think he's a good enough head coach. They can actually get to the Western Conference Finals. Can you imagine how interesting it would be if we saw Luka versus either Jokic or Ant Edwards in the Western Conference Finals? That would actually like sell tickets. But when I just look at Luka, big moments. Oh, wait a minute. We got another guest on the show. BRF. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, my brothers. How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
Doing
Before
all right,
I
bro.
let you hop on, we got a comment from our man Jay Will. Go check him out on the Stay Tuned Live podcast every Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. on the West Coast. BRF, we just talking about the playoffs, man. We just talking about the Mavericks Thunder series. What's your thoughts in that series, man?
It's kind of gone the way I expected it. They're really, to me, I think they are really evenly matched. It's kind of gone the way I expected. I don't know. I just have this. I don't know. It's like I understand why a lot of people might be going with the Mavericks because of Luka and Kyrie, but I don't know, man. It's just something about OKC, man. It's just I don't know that youth movement they got going down there, man. It's something to behold, man. Just Lord, Sam Presti is like a damn genius there with OKC and what he's done with that roster and the drafting and just the only person he's really gotten via trade is SGA. Everybody else is pretty much homegrown draft bred. So it's like what they've been doing is just you got to give him props. What he's been doing has just been nothing short of amazing. Where he's got that team and how they're playing. It wouldn't shock me at all if that series went 7 games. Even with Luka, I don't think the Mavericks. I think where the Thunder can get them is Chet Holmgren and his ability to D up anybody on the floor, and I think that's where the matchup really can kind of swing in the favor of OKC. I've been a Chet Holmgren fan since when he was in college and everybody was kind of hyping him up and talking about it, and I got to see him play, and it's just like, man, all he's got to do is just stay on this game. Of course he's going to have to put his man weight on, but he's got potential to be something serious. So I'm definitely feeling that Mavericks Thunder series. It wouldn't shock me if it went the whole 7 games. It wouldn't shock me at all.
I still got the Mavericks though, because I think with Luka giving the playoff experience and Kyrie, at some point in time, we're going to see a great type of performance from him and also some of the other players from the Dallas Mavericks. I think with Chet, he's going to provide we know what presence he's going to provide with the interior, but even if he had Luka guarding him, I think Luka's going to have his edge because of what Luka can do with the mid range, also how he delivers the ball like in the post and stuff like that. I think Luka is going to have a big time game in Game 3. I think he's going to give you 47 and 8 in that game. And I think Luka is just going to look, man, he's the baddest guy out there since Larry Bird, man. Larry Legend. The confidence, the swagger that this guy has, man, he has it all. Now, the moment I've been waiting for. BRF, I'm going to let you go first.
I bet.
Drake and Kendrick.
Oh boy, man. You know what? I really felt like, I don't know, man. I really felt like Drake bringing a knife to a gunfight here. I really do. I really do. Kendrick is like, there's a reason why even somebody as great as J. Cole was like, nah, I'm gonna back out of this one. Because Kendrick is just on another level when it comes to just lyrics and his brain. And it's funny though, because I saw this post on IG where it was like fans on Twitter were kind of getting on Kendrick because some of his bars from that I can't with the last one he put out, I can't remember the name of it.
Not like us.
Yeah, not like us. I guess they were trying to clown him because like 4 of his bars was like I guess they're trying to say that people had said it on Twitter, and Kendrick used for the tweets as bars in the verse. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm like, so let me get this straight. Y'all gonna clown Kendrick for 4 lines he supposedly used off of Twitter, but yet Drake got ghostwriters. Make it make sense. make it make sense. I mean, this is like I'm trying to use a good analogy on this without sounding too crazy. This is like going to a WWE event back in the day, and this would be like, gosh, this would be like the Big Show going up against Taka Michinoku. Like just mismatch, just no contest, just none at all. I mean, it's not, my thing is, it's not that Drake isn't good lyrically. It's not that he can't put stuff together. But as soon as I heard Drake and Kendrick was beefing, I'm like, what the hell is Drake doing? Like, what is he doing? Because Kendrick about to just, oh man, just bless his little heart, man. I don't know what Drake was thinking. I don't know what Drake was thinking. I really don't. I'm Kendrick Lamar all the way on this, man. Just, oh lordy, he need to take his L and just keep it pushing. That's all I got to say about that matter.
And by the way, the Heart Part 6 song, it's been reported, it's like he has like 1 million or over 1 million dislikes on YouTube.
Damn.
Yeah, Kendrick won. It's over. I can just tell you right there. That's all I need to hear.
That's all you got to say, Mitch?
That's all I need to hear. If you got 1 million dislikes on YouTube, Kendrick wins. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
Before,
I mean, that A minor line was like the nail in the coffin, in my opinion, anyway.
Right.
Before I let Champ and myself hop on, we got Casual Vanity Sports Debates. Go check them out. Also go check them out on FYF Sports Debates. The podcast with him and Mario. What's the name of the podcast y'all on? Casual
the crossover over on FYF Sports. We go live every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to check us out. It's me, Maria, A Sturdy, True the King, Young Africa, H from the UK, and a myriad of other people that's a part of that production. It's so much fun. I'm working with those guys. So yeah, for sure. Please make sure to go check them out.
Appreciate definitely will, man. Make sure you like and subscribe to them. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to Casual's podcast as well. With it does a lot of great basketball content, my man. Casual, we talking about Drake versus Kendrick.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about the whole thing?
I think any way that you want to slice it, Kendrick outdid Drake. If you look at if you're a fan of artistry, I think the way that Kendrick decisively broke him down from 616 onward, I think you can't find anybody that could lyrically mimic what Kendrick did outside of maybe like Pusha T. Or maybe Jadakiss or something like that, or maybe even Joe Budden. Shout out to Joe Budden. Maybe
you saw him dancing. You saw he and his crew dancing.
Yeah, maybe those are the there are a few names in rap history that could be able to do what Kendrick did in this battle from 616 in LA. Like methodically pointing out and putting bugs in Drake's ear or making him feel a little bit paranoid about how he has a mole in his group, and then Drake dropping Family Matters, and no more than 10 minutes later, Kendrick dropping Meet the Grams and Meet the Grams being
Meet the Grams.
like Meet the Grams being just a surgical, lyrical display of pinpointing his mistakes as a son, his mistakes as a father, his mistakes as a human being. You know, just pointing out all of them and just going at everybody. And even if you're a fan of the way that Drake typically does it in battles, where he looks to get a hit as the staple of the entire battle. Like no matter whether he won or lost, you can be able to pinpoint to that song, and 9 times out of 10 it got Drake's name on it. Well, this battle, it had Kendrick's name all on it. It was not like us, and so I think any way you slice it, Kendrick just outdid Drake in his own game.
Oof.
Talk to me, Big Champ.
You know what I remember, man? I remember one particular show that we had. I was on your show and we was doing Start Bitch Cut. And the first person who you started was K-Dot. And people was getting all on you during that time of the show. Looks like your sentiments were well-founded during that time. So, you know, big ups to you on that. Hey, you talk about bringing a knife to a gunfight. Hell, he brought a BB gun to Vietnam, damn it. I'm just gonna be real on that one. So I'm just gonna be real. He bought a BB.
Drake had a 22 and Kendrick had a 22 and Kendrick had an AK.
So yeah, you bought a BB gun to Vietnam, and guess what? You lost the war by a large margin. But before I go any further, isn't it safe to say that no coast knows how to battle rap better than the West? From Hit 'em Up, No Vaseline, 300 bars by the game, just to name a few. You know, even
one,
you're
getting one.
What's that?
Rest his soul, Eazy-E.
Yeah, Real G's.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say, you know, when the West Coast artists they start beefing, they're gonna bring the heat, and it's gonna be some real heat. So arguably, they're the best battle rappers as far as, you know, old wax you're ever going to see. No disrespect to no other coast, but some of the best battle raps that we've heard came from the West. I mean, don't forget about West Side Slaughterhouse with, you know, Ice Cube and, you know, West Side Connection when they was going at Common. They did a whole video for it and everything. So it's safe to say that the West, you don't beef with the West because unless you try to go straight to war, because they gonna bring it to you. Hey, man, look. Kendrick, his wordplay, I mean, I'm at a loss of words right now because that was arguably we're coming off of the heels of one of the most exciting weeks in hip hop, arguably since Kanye West and 50 Cent went at it on the Billboard charts.
Right.
Because it was song after song after song. And not only did Kendrick win, but the fans won. We won. We got to see some of the best battle rap out of the two best superstars, arguably in modern day times. You know, I hate that we didn't get this. I mean, and not only that, people don't even want to talk about this. A lot of beefs have spit off from this particular beef. You know, now you got Game and Rick Ross going at it a little bit. You know, it's just.
Not even sports. You got Shaq and Shannon going at
it.
You right?
Yeah, our two favorite uncles are going at it now. So you know,
did y'all see the IG post where Game was talking about Rick Ross and what the Game say? Oh, Wingstop must be closed on Friday.
Yeah. But that's how that went, man. I mean, hey, people, whatever side you was on, the fans won. The fans won. We got a chance to see two of the greatest of all time go head to head. And hey, man, in battle rap, people talk about, well, you know, it should get that personal. It's always going to get personal a little bit in battle rap. It's a battle rap. You know, you're going to, in the great words of the late, great Eric Mays, when they go low, you go lower. So guess what, man? In battle rap, you got to do that in order to win. I mean, guess what? For Kendrick to beat the top dog in Drake, who's arguably one of the greatest of all time, that's a notch up under his belt that you can't buy, man. That's a notch up under your belt that you just can't buy. I mean, can you imagine, let's say, I'm being biased when I say this, can you imagine, let's say, Common beating Jay-Z in a battle rap? I mean, I compare it to that because people always want to, you know, crap on Kendrick because of, you know, because he's more lyrical than a lot of artists. People always crap on lyricists for some reason, which is silly because that's what hip hop is all about, is the lyrics, not about necessarily the beats. So I will say this, man. We won, man. The fans won, and quite frankly, man, I was happy to see it as a hip hop fan, man. That was the most exciting 24 hours. I mean, hey, man, not only that, man, I hate to put it out there, man. The group chats was every group chat I was in was lit for that entire week. So I mean, everybody kept me on board, man. So Kendrick, man, big ups to you, man. That's a notch up under your belt that you can't buy. And hell, man, like I said, as a hip hop fan, I'm just happy to see it, man.
Here's my response to Kendrick. The Hennessy bottle right here. I'm drinking this. He won that one. No question in my mind. He won that one. I mean, I told you this is why I said before. I'm starting Kendrick over. I started Kendrick. I benched J. Cole, and I'm cutting Drake because lyrically, Kendrick can go after it. I mean, after when Drake did Family Matters, and when you listen, Meet the Grams, and then Not Like Us, and I'm like, holy shit! Like with all the lyrics that Kendrick is putting up, man. I just feel like it was great. And it was great for fans with hip hop. I mean, it's like a boxing match to see two heavyweights, two greats going back and forth. And it was fun though. And Kendrick, hasn't he gotten like the most streams like on Spotify? Didn't he break some type of Spotify
Yeah,
record?
he's ahead of Taylor Swift right now. You know,
Taylor Swift not even top 5. It's like amazing how those two went back and forth with it, man. I mean, Drake, when he tried to do the Heart Part 6, I mean, I just kind of knew he was defeated. He was kind of defeated. Kendrick, man, he just embarrassed the man with all those other tracks, including, let's not forget Euphoria. We're forgetting Euphoria. And I just feel like, man, hey, Kendrick, don't play with Kendrick. To your point, champ, all the great West Coast rappers, you don't want to mess with Kendrick. And this was great. This is great for hip hop. This is great for fans, man. They just gave us some great content. But man, it was unbelievable. There's nothing else I could say. Kendrick just won this one, man. Any final words before we move on to the next subject?
Hey, man,
Yeah,
He cleared him.
go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Casual.
No, do y'all think he cleared him?
I really can't say just because you beat somebody in a battle rap doesn't necessarily
I would
mean
say clear him, but clearly, I do think he's the better rapper.
Oh, I mean, but we all knew that he was the better rapper, whether he
Right.
won this battle or not. We knew if he won this battle, it was going to be because of his superior rapping
I
skills.
think the question is with Drake, what's next? Because it seems like to me, the only reason why K-Dot responded is because is he trying to put Drake out of his misery? Like what was the thing?
I mean, Drake is still going to. Me personally, I think Drake is going to be the same artist that we always knew he was. I even when before they even like kicked this, this battle off, I remember me saying that Drake is the one that has the most to gain. Kendrick is the one that has the most to lose, because the only way that Kendrick is going to lose this battle to Drake is if Drake out-raps Kendrick. And so if he out-raps Kendrick, then that goes against everything that we believe Kendrick to be. So he would lose so much, cachet or so much aura. And if he lost this battle, in Drake's sense, man, we already knew that Kendrick was the far superior rapper. And even with Kendrick getting a hit out, act like anything that Kendrick did is something that we didn't think was a possibility.
Exactly.
So I don't think Drake is really gonna lose anything or lose in favor. I think the only thing that he will probably be on him for probably the next year or two is those allegations that Kendrick gave to him. But I think sooner or later people are gonna come to their senses that neither one of these people, neither of their accusations towards each other has any validity. There was no proof about anything. I think the only proof that you can say that Kendrick gave is the stuff that's gone on really over Drake's career, that it's not really like hefty proof, but you deal with a few things here, you deal with a few accusations here, you know what I'm saying? And it sort of leaves that feeling of, all right, if all these people are saying these things about you, they have to be true. Because this isn't the accusation that Kendrick is putting towards Drake isn't the first time we've heard these accusations, right?
In the words of my man, Undisputed World Champ, everybody ain't lying.
Yeah.
Both of their careers got elevated. If you want me to be very, very honest, I compare this to two other rap beefs. I compare this rap beef to the NC Shan KRS-One beef and the Nas and Jay-Z beef. Hip hop is very, very forgiving, especially to two megastars like Kendrick and Drake. So I think, after this, he might do a song like Jay-Z did when Jay-Z brought out the Blueprint 2, explaining what started the beef or whatever, and explaining how it ended. But it's not going to really hurt Drake. Drake's still going to have his fans all over the world.
Yeah.
He's going to have his home fans. He's going to have everybody still going to listen to Drake album. And as we saw, there's going to be people who believe he won the beef, which is a farce, but believe what you will. Yeah. But I don't think it hurt either one of them, man. It elevated Kendrick even more than what we thought it was going to. And guess what, man? Hey, in order to be the king, you got to defend that crown. And guess what, man? Hey, there's always another hit record makes people forget about a little bit of everything, man. We've seen some of the best hip-hop stars lose beefs, come out with another great album, and guess what, man? People almost forget about the beef. So we saw that with Jay-Z after the Nas beef. Ether was one of the best hip-hop records that you ever want to see. But then
you forgetting West Coast, West Coast rap. Let's not forget the East Coast.
Yeah. So Ether was one of the
Didn't Jay-Z come out with didn't Jay-Z come out with a diss track like a little while later?
Super Ugly.
Yeah, that sort of like it. I won't say it was on the level of Ether, but it sort of put him back in like the eyes of the public. It sort of made it seem like it really wasn't that big of a disparity between the two. I feel like this one, like there's no Super Ugly for Drake unless he got proof about Kendrick beating his wife. Like, those are some serious allegations as well.
Yeah. But going back to that about Jay-Z though, like he brought up Super Ugly. I don't think that was on the level of. I mean, it did kind of elevated back up a little bit. I don't think that was on the level of Takeover, to be honest with you. But
that Takeover was,
because I remember that, because I remember the Nas J beef happened. I think it was like my first semester down in Statesboro. I started at Georgia Southern U, and it was my first semester down there. And that beef was when it happened. And then Ether's in my top 5 diss tracks all time. Lord. I mean, we talk, man. Let me tell you something. Me and like a lot of the people that I was going to school with down there, like at the time, I think we talked about Ether for weeks. That was just, that was something major. I hadn't heard really anything that like as far as a diss track. I hadn't really heard anything that perfect since gosh, I'm trying to think how far could okay, take that back. Hail Mary 2004, when M and 50 and Busta annihilated Ja Rule. Those are like 2 close to perfect diss tracks ever heard.
Yeah. Hey, but my hot take, man. Huge hot take. No Vaseline is the greatest diss record of all time.
That's interesting.
By Ice Cube?
Yeah.
That was a good one, though.
It was a good one. That's a little bit of a hot take, man.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
But it casual, like you said, when it comes to OG, it comes to OG.
I agree with everything he says.
There you go. Let's talk about.
Wait, hold on. Let me just say this one thing.
Go ahead,
real
Mitch.
quick. the fans win, right? And whatever drives them in, it's controversy, drama. They want to tear into both sides. Everybody wins at the end of the day. But Drake, my favorite rapper. After this, I don't know now. I really don't know. I think
You
I
think he
think
got
he's probably-
exposed?
I think he fell off a little bit, but I'm still up there with him. I'm still up there, but
I think it just validated Kendrick to another level, man. And I just feel like with Kendrick and Drake, there's levels to this with Kendrick, and Kendrick just yet again just showed you
it's
he ain't nothing to mess with.
it's not over.
It's
gonna
not
go
over. It's
again.
not over. Drake could find something, but I think
No.
for right now, Kendrick is on the.
Right
Let's-
now, he's got to wait like a month or two. He's got to wait a little bit, and then
No,
come
he need to
back with
leave.
something.
He need to leave it alone. Make
No,
records.
no,
Make
no, no.
records. Leave it alone. Don't touch that no more. Because I promise you, if he does one more, Kendrick might literally annihilate him. He need to leave it alone. Let it go. Let it go.
Let's
Yeah,
move on.
stop messing with that boogeyman.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you guys moving the football? You guys moving the football right now?
No, we're just talking about the roast of Tom Brady. I don't know if you watched that, Casual.
I did not. Is it all right if I just say one thing about basketball?
Go ahead.
I do want you guys to understand we are in the best postseason we have seen since the 2015 postseason run that ended with the Golden State Warriors winning their first ever championship, or Stephen Curry's first ever championship. What we're witnessing right now, I don't know if people have been noticing the ramifications that are going through the league right now due to how high of a defensive level everybody is playing at. When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, and also the Oklahoma City Thunder, there are only 2 teams left that in the league during the regular season had a top 10 offense. The rest of them got dissed in like 5 games max. That's how good of a defensive postseason we're seeing. People have been begging to get back to the old days. People have been begging for us to get to the days where defense mattered. We're here. So we need to appreciate what we're just seeing. Specifically, if you get a chance, watch this Timberwolves versus Nuggets game. It's the first quarter is not even over. The defensive intensity that the Nuggets are matching with the Timberwolves, this is a chess match between head coaches at this point because both teams are giving maximum effort on both ends. So I just wanted to say that. Appreciate what you're seeing because it probably next year is going to be too much defense or it's going to get back to too much offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have one thing to follow up with that.
Go ahead, Mitch.
The refs are hurting the league. The defense is at an all-time high. I agree with you, but something's got to happen with the refs, bro. Something's got to happen with these refs, man. Something.
Casual, is there anything you want to respond?
I mean, the referees have always been a problem in the league. It's always been the case since
Agreed.
really back in the 80s. So, like, I mean, at this point, I'm sort of over the referees. And in some of these games, even though the referees do play a part in a team losing, you could also blame the players themselves because they put themselves in the holes by not making free throws in a timely manner or not making the right decisions and turning over the ball that allow teams to stay in games that otherwise they really shouldn't. You look at the Indiana Pacers game specifically against the New York Knicks in game 2, I believe. They had that game dead to right, and they gave it to the New York Knicks because of untimely turnovers, missing shots, and not making their free throws. So as much as the referees play a role, you also
fouls
have to
as well.
That too. Also untimely fouls as well.
Yeah. No, I agree
but-
with you, Casual, and I appreciate you for adding that as well.
For sure.
And shout out to the Pacers. They won. Nemhard at the buzzer.
Yeah,
Game winning shot.
Game winning
That-
shot.
well,
Pacers
it
take
wasn't-
game 3.
Yeah, it wasn't like a buzzer beater, but it was a game.
It was like a
winning.
couple
the last,
seconds.
Yeah, it was a go-ahead shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I titled it as my YouTube short at the buzzer. You know.
All right, now to the next
Look,
subject.
hold on. I got it right here. Hold on. Let me share this.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me solo shot it.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me rewind it.
He lost the ball. Do you get that part? Oh damn, he didn't have it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, that's not-
Tyrese passed the ball out of a
Yeah,
Yeah,
double
he
Remember?
team.
passed the ball. He passed him the ball. Got it. Bang.
Yeah,
And Nemhard,
Nemhard knocked
Pacers
it.
take the win.
That's his only three, by the way, guys. That's
Right?
his
That's
only
only
three, guys.
freaking three.
Didn't make. He shot the ball 8 times. He made a layup, and that's it. And
Hey,
and that
that's-
three was what made everything else all right for him.
Casual. You ready for this? That's
What?
better than Tobias Harris. I would take that guy over Tobias Harris any day of the week.
Oh Lord, you gotta let that go, man. Get that hate out your heart, man.
He's
How
a
can I
sexist
let that
man,
go?
dude.
How can I let that go? He had 0 points in elimination game.
man.
Hey man, that's on the Sixers organization.
That's
You
my
can't-
team.
Facts.
That's my
You chose
team.
Jimmy. You chose him over Jimmy though. So like,
No,
you
no,
get what you
no,
deserve.
no.
Man.
We showed Jimmy wanted out. Jimmy wanted it gone. He did not want to deal with Ben Simmons and Brett Brown. It had
That is-
nothing to do with Tobias.
He was
It was
willing to stay
report-
for Embiid though.
Huh?
He was willing to stay for Embiid due to the
He
relationship.
wanted to stay with Embiid, but he didn't want to play with Ben Simmons, who wouldn't shoot the dang ball, and
Well,
he
they
wouldn't
ended
want
up
to play
trading
for
him.
Brett Brown.
Didn't they end up trading Ben Simmons in like 2 years? Man, if you didn't just, man, they should have shut their mouth. That's what they should have done. They talk about, so can you control him? Can you
And then-
control him?
How about this? You ready? The Pacers offered us Halliburton and Buddy Hield for Ben Simmons. We turned that down. And there was
I would have as well.
I wouldn't. Are you kidding me? I would
I
have taken
would've- I
Halliburton
would've.
and Buddy Hield.
I mean, you didn't know that Tyrese was going to turn into this, and Buddy Hield is like a.
Better than Ben Simmons.
You know what? You know, even though that the Knicks had Jalen Brunson, they could have drafted Tyrese Halliburton with the 8th overall pick, but instead they drafted Obi Toppin. And I think it was a
Obi
large part-
Toppin's on the same team. He's underrated. I love Obi
I think
Toppin.
it's because of the fact he's a Brooklyn kid and also box office attraction, but they needed a point guard at that particular time because who did you have running the floor? So, you know.
Who did
but-
the Sixers have at that point? Or
No, the Knicks,
Oh,
because
the
they
Knicks.
had too many forwards. Like you need a
Knicks-
point guard.
yeah, they needed somebody at that point. The
Especially
Knicks
when they
needed
got Julius
somebody.
Randle, I definitely did not see that. I was like, you spent all that money on Julius Randle, even though they made the postseason. You just knew that had a ceiling about as high as my 1-story house.
Yeah.
But
All right, fellas, we got to move on to a next subject. Did y'all by any chance check to see the roast of Tom Brady?
I've seen clips.
Yeah, I saw it.
damn,
I've seen clips.
damn.
I've seen
there
clips.
I saw the one on Kim Kardashian when she was booed and they edited out. Netflix edited out. I also saw Belichick's joke on Rob Gronkowski commenting on football. I actually liked it. I thought it was great. It was great to see Tom Brady taking jokes down. There was one particular joke, Jeffrey Ross, the comedian. He kind of went a little too far by bringing up Robert Kraft with the whole thing back in 2019, to which Tom Brady had to step in and was like, nah, dude, chill. I will give Tom Brady this. He handled it well, especially with the Jeffrey Ross situation, because it always goes back to me with the Oscars with Will Smith. We all know the situation with Will Smith. I don't want to revisit. That's in the past. But Tom Brady handled the situation well because he didn't have to like beat any comedians and stuff like that. It was reported that Giselle did not like how the way she was portrayed in the roast. She didn't like any of the things that transpired in the roast. Also, they also made jokes about Aaron Hernandez, to which Champ, you even mentioned that his girl at the time didn't take the jokes too well. My thing is this with comedians. They known for making jokes. If your ass is that sensitive, stay your ass home or go somewhere else. Because if you give comedians an opportunity to talk shit, man, they will talk shit. This is what they do. This is what they known for. This is how they make their money. So, I mean, it is what it is with comedians. Tom Brady, I thought he handled the situation well. I actually liked it. I thought it was a blast. What are y'all thoughts, Champ? I'm gonna let you go first.
OG, quick question before you go. When the hell did PSP start cursing? That's how you know I've been gone too long.
First of all,
Entirely too long.
first of all, I've had 3. I've had some drinks of wine, something that you and we were supposed to honor, but
You
apparently
supposed to do it? Oh, okay. All right. Like you don't be inviting me no more. I could have brought my
You've been
wine
busy,
tonight.
my dude. You've been busy, my man. I see you on FYF Sports
I would make
Debates.
time for my brothers though. You see, I did it for OG.
I know you do it for OG, but first of all, it's hard to say no to Champ. We all know that. It's hard to say no.
That is true, especially when he get to flickering his eyes real fast and stuff. It's tough to say no. It does get a little tough. I get it. That is true.
The little flicker.
Yeah, he gets to blinking. He gets to blinking real fast.
Look at him.
Look. He get to. Please. Like, all right, I got you.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm gonna get you, Casual. I'm gonna get you. I'm not gonna get you on the show, but I'm gonna get you. I ain't gonna get you on the watch, but I'm gonna get you on the rich.
Oh God!
All right. But no, if I was doing it for OG, I'll do it for you too. If you don't, if all you got to do is tell me the time and day, I'm gonna come through with some nice white wine, nice like sweet, and we're gonna get it on.
Sounds good to me. Champ, go ahead, man.
Ooh, man, I feel like I just was damn near part of a roast. Ooh, hey. Hey, just don't call my boy Calvin.
I got you.
Shout out to Calvin, by the way. He too is an Oklahoma fan, as you already know, PSP. Hey, man, look, I believe some of these guys, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe some of these guys be watching y'all shows, man, because just last week, you remember PSP had us over here dying laughing because of a joke that he made. So I believe.
You want me to revisit that joke?
Yeah. We all remember this one.
Doc Rivers has gotten more opportunities as a head coach than the Kardashians have as far as dating men. I did say that.
Yeah, so I believe they was watching your show last week.
Oh wow!
PSP shut it down.
So I'm I say this in the group chat all the time, man. I believe a lot of these guys in the sports world be watching our shows because we'll say something and about a week later we'll hear it again. But I digress, man. Hey, the main part of the joke that I laugh is when I'm gonna keep it very, very clean. You know, we ain't at the barbershop. But when remember when Kevin Hart at the end was talking about new karate classes. So he almost spit out his damn drink. You all right? He almost spit out his damn drink. PSP, you good, bro?
Shit, I need some more.
So he was talking about all the karate classes that Giselle was going to with the aerobics instructor or whatever, the Tabo guy, whatever the hell he was. I really don't know who he was. So that was by far the most funniest thing. And for Tom Brady, man, look here, man. I am glad that a guy like Tom Brady, who is not only the greatest quarterback of all time, but hey man, he got the charisma, he got the look, he got a little bit of everything. And for a guy like that to be able to take jokes like that, man, that says a lot, man. And I believe a lot of people can learn from that, man. And one thing about Tom Brady I can say throughout his career, he took football serious, but never took himself too serious. And that's how come his teammates love him to this day. You know, from, you know, Julian Edelman, just to name a few, his guy Gronk. That's why his teammates love him to this day. So if a guy like that can take a joke, then you're behind, regardless of how important you think you is, shouldn't take yourself too serious. So, I mean, I loved it, man. It was, he sat there, he took every single joke, he dished it out. And that's what roasted all about, man. Everybody remember, all of us remember, especially you, BRF, because we from down south. Everybody remembers the cafeteria table roast, man. And that was
boy. Jonan,
right.
boy. The Jonan. Oh my God.
Hey, when you come to that table, you better be prepared. Because if one thing wrong with you, we gonna roast you out the building. So, hey, I enjoyed that thoroughly, man. And man, it's just like I said, it goes to show you a lot of things, unless it can be within the joke, man. Hey, man, Tom Brady, greatest of all time, married a supermodel and everything. If he could take jokes like that, you know, where people are hitting hard, you know, your behind shouldn't think you exempt from a joke. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to Tom Brady, and big up to them karate classes too. So I say that.
You trying to get me to laugh even more. Mitch, did you see the joke, man? Did you see the roast from Tom Brady and stuff?
Honestly, I have not, because I did not see one thing of promotion at all. I did not see anything about it. So
you gotta watch it.
There was a roast? Like, I know there's a roast now. I've seen clips. But everyone was like, you watching this? I was getting DM'd. I'm like, because I'm a Michigan fan, diehard Michigan fan. So everyone's like, Mitch, you got to watch this. You got Tom Brady's there. I'm like, first of all, he's a cheater. Let's put that into consideration. I don't call him part of Michigan. That's one. But I did not know anything about this. I did not know anything about this. I did not. Me and my buddy were like, wait, there's a roast? I didn't get anything. I'm like, yeah, my phone's blowing up. Hey. I still got to watch it. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Him being labeled as a cheater, ain't that, you know, I mean, ain't it ironic him being labeled as a cheater? Is, you know, he is from Michigan, by the way, you know.
Yeah. And my Michigan won a ring. We actually won something.
What were you trying to say about Michigan, champ?
I mean, y'all got Brady the cheater, so, you know.
I know we had
Be honest, we did cheat again. Michigan did cheat the season.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, we got a ring. We got something. We cheated our way to get there, but we got something.
Hey, you ain't trying hard.
That's why Harbaugh went to the NFL. That's why Harbaugh went to the NFL.
BRF.
Oh God. Oh my God. It's last week all over again with these jokes. Oh God. Okay. All right, let's bring it. Let's bring it together. But yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I have seen a lot of the clips. That one Julian Edelman joke on Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, like, God be with that man for letting that come out his mouth. But I will say this though, Nikki Glazer, I was unfamiliar with your game. She was the best one for me, from what I've seen. Nikki Glazer for me was the best one because oh my gosh. I mean, it was like, take no prisoners. She had that one particular joke talking about talking about Giselle and talking about the trainer. Like, gosh, isn't it funny how Giselle is with someone who could whoop Tom Brady's butt? And yeah, oh my God, that was I don't want to say the whole thing. I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible, but oh boy. And like, yes, I saw some of the Kevin Hart stuff. It was just yeah. I'm gonna sit. I want to sit and watch the entire thing, but just from like a lot of the clips I saw, just the Nikki Glazer section portion of it was oh my gosh, she I mean, and she's done like a lot of roles, and like I don't know, she's done some good stuff, but this was like her best one by like a wide margin. I mean, she tried to bury Tom Brady under the building. I mean, that was hilarious. That was her. She was really good that night. So I'm gonna have to. I'll sit and watch the whole thing, but I laughed really hard at like a lot of the clips that I was able to see. But yeah, that her section, and then the Julian Edelman joke, the Gronk and Aaron Hernandez joke was like, when he let that joke out, I swear to God, my mouth just instantly, I was just like I ain't know how to react to that one, because the dude was literally like a teammate, and I'm just like, oh, but yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the whole thing when I get a chance, because I laughed really hard at the stuff I did see, so I can only imagine watching that entire thing from beginning to end.
All right. Casual, I know you don't follow football. By any chance, did you watch the roast of Tom Brady? It's okay if you didn't watch it.
You know I didn't. I was thinking of ways that I could be able to bullshit my way out of. No, I don't. I didn't. I can't.
It's all good, but actually, we got these last two subjects here because I'm actually surprised. We almost about to finish the show pretty early, but we got some interesting topics. All of us, it's fair to say, we all love our wrestling. Came up with an interesting one since the title, Let's Get Dirty.
Oh.
Favorite Triple H moment. Now, I think to Champ, he'll probably give me credit because a couple of weeks ago or last week, we did favorite Jim Ross moment. And one of our favorite Jim Ross moments was the commentary he gave on Triple H Shawn Michaels post SummerSlam 2002. Remember when Triple H hits Shawn Michaels in the back with the sledgehammer, of course, and then Jim Ross went off with the commentary. Casual, I'm going to let you go first. What is your favorite Triple H moment?
I ain't even get a chance for me to prep for this. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say 2003. It was getting around SummerSlam time. Shawn Michaels had just returned, and he had gotten brutally beaten backstage. And for like weeks, it was like this whodunit going around. And lo and behold, it was Triple H all along, which got us into the storyline. They got us SummerSlam, which I think is one of the greatest matches Shawn Michaels has ever given us, and it was his first match back in action around that time. So I would say, and then especially the story that goes back to like during the match where Shawn's wife, after the because Shawn Michaels had came back from back surgery, his wife was seriously concerned about him coming back. And Triple H said that he literally told her, I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna make sure he's okay. All while putting him in like one of the most hardcore matches that you could possibly book at that time. And not only that, he took a sledgehammer to the back after winning the match, but yet Triple H took care of him. I think that's the Triple H that I view as his best version. And so yeah, that's my favorite memory of Triple H.
Mitch.
So I got a couple.
Go ahead.
It's the WrestleManias between him and Undertaker. You can include the Hell in a Cell. You can include the first one. But those are my two top. They're tied. I can't put one over the other. You just can't. And that kick out that the Undertaker had from like the super kick,
the Sweet Chin Music.
Sweet Chin Music, thank you. To the pedigree, and he kicks out. He kicked out of that. That's my favorite memory. That's it, right there. And then you can put in the WrestleMania match with him and John Cena. You can put that in there. You can put him on at the, what was it? He was on the roof he was on the roof of like the WWE headquarters. And
Oh,
all you
him
see
and
is
Sean with the
him and-
DX and
with the DX, yeah. So you can put that there as well. But for me, I'm going with both WrestleManias. That's mine.
I think Champ would probably say, and he mentioned a certain match with Triple H. Even though my GOAT, remember Stone Cold Steve Austin, the 3 stages of hell?
Yes,
You
yes,
want to continue, Champ?
that was arguably one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. 2001, No Way Out, right before WrestleMania, and Triple H beat him 2 straight falls, beat him in the street fight, and beat him in the cage. And back then, a cage match was considered Stone Cold's forte at a certain point. So for him to beat him 2 straight falls, and this was at Stone Cold's peak, like his peak, after he had won the Royal Rumble. And then remember what happened the very next night. I have beaten everybody that there is to beat. I have taken your heroes. I have beaten every single one of them. But there's a promo that I want to point out about Triple H. It was him, and again, it was between him and a Georgia Bulldog we all know and love as Goldberg. And I never forget something that Triple H said. He said, Goldberg, what makes you so damn different than anybody else? How many people have walked down that line? Rock, Austin, Nash, RVD, HBK. What makes you so different than either one of them? Because they all thought that they could get the job done. All the fans thought that they could get the job done. And each and every last one of them failed. And when you really think about it, Triple H as a heel has beaten some of the greatest baby faces of all time. I mean, he was today what Ric Flair was back in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, not only that, coming up with people love DX Triple H, but Evolution Triple H was that deal. I mean, Evolution Triple H, the leader of the pack. I mean, flashy. I mean, the suits, going to the Ferrari shows, being on the side, being in the front row of a New York Knicks game in Madison Square Garden. I mean, essentially recreating a better version of the Four Horsemen, a way better version, because the thing is, although Tully Blanchard and Ole Anderson, they were great in their own right, Randy Orton and Batista, they became multiple-time world champions. Multiple. So for him to recreate the Four Horsemen and for them to exceed them in certain ways, I think that's the top Triple H moment. And not to mention, although I kind of hate that year because it seemed like, and I think people can back me up on this, because it seemed like in 2003, although Evolution was at their height, it seems like they did everything that year to undermine WCW. Because if you notice that year, that was his longest title reign. And all those guys that he beat outside of Goldberg, because Goldberg beat him twice, once at Unforgiven and then at Survivor Series. Remember, he beat Big Papa
Ross's commentary?
Yeah. Remember, he beat Big Papa Pump at the Royal Rumble at No Way Out when Evolution first formed, beat Booker T at WrestleMania, and then it just went. Then Kevin Nash at Bad Blood and at Judgment Day. So it seems like that reign of terror. And if you really look at it, all of those stars, all 5 of those guys, including Goldberg, have one thing in common. At the apex of WCW, those were the top guys. So, I mean, although, that was a time where he was just squashing WCW guys, how I feel to just undermine WCW to show them I'm the real. You put WCW against me, the face of the WWE, and all of them will fall. I think 2003 was arguably Triple H's greatest year because Evolution and that title reign was no joke. Not to mention avenging his loss at only the second Elimination Chamber. Because remember, that first one, he not only lost, but he tore his trachea as well.
Yeah. BRF.
Oh man, Triple H is my favorite heel of all time. He's my favorite. Just his ability to cut promos, his ability to make you feel what he was about to do, and it was just like the evolution form of him is probably my favorite version of him too, just because it was like I feel like it was the best balance of. I mean, I don't know. It's like it kind of. I think a good comparison to that Triple H is like the tribal chief Roman Reigns. I think it's a good comparison. The paranoia of wanting to be the best, wanting the validation, all of this, wanting people to remind him how great he is, but then it's like he'd go out there and he just line him up, beat him. No matter how he beat him, he got it done, got him out the way, moved on. But if I had to pick, well, for one, an underrated Triple H match is WrestleMania 31 with Sting, even though Sting should have won. It was a really, really good match. It was a really good match and underrated. I mean, I don't know, that whole DX NWO segment of that match was just like, it was funny, but it was almost like a good way to kind of like put the bow on the whole WCW side of it. And Champ, you're talking about Triple H running through all those WCW guys in 2003. Well, sure enough, WrestleMania 21, he goes through Sting, and I'm just like, bro, just let one of them beat you one. Just let him beat you once. You ain't got to beat them all, bro. Just let him get one. But this is what I'll say. My favorite Triple H moment is not just a moment, it's a rivalry. I think the greatest rivalry in the history of professional wrestling, not WWE, not just any organization. I think the best rivalry of professional wrestling history was him and Shawn Michaels from 2002 to 04. The matches they put on were, I mean, it was just like the storytelling, the physicality, just everything they did to each other was just like if you could just line them all up from SummerSlam 2002 all the way to Bad Blood 04 and that Hell in a Cell match, which is still the longest Hell in a Cell match in the history of the match. It was perfect. I mean, SummerSlam 2002. No, here's the thing. We don't even talk about Royal Rumble. What was it? Royal Rumble. Was Royal Rumble 03 the last man standing match with him and Shawn?
04.
04? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The 04 last man standing match. No, we don't even talk about that. That the ended in a draw. Like, bro, it was just everything they did was just perfect to a T. Because that question always existed. Okay, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, who's better? And it was just the perfect illustration of just those two just trying to, seeing who was better than the other one. And I mean, that Hell in a Cell match. I mean, that's one of the more underrated. Bad Blood 04. That's one of the more underrated Hell in a Cell matches of all time. Because everybody focuses on just how long that match was, but they did so much, and it just painted a story. It was like, and the end was just perfect. Like, they're just throwing blows at each other, and then Triple H finally hits that one pedigree, and they're just spent. They're just done. And then Triple H just puts put the hand on him, like, could barely move and just puts the hand on him, gets the 1, 2, 3, and it's just like they told how evenly matched the rivalry was, that it ended the way it did like that was just so beautifully done. That rivalry, in my opinion, for me, it goes down as the greatest of all time, just because you got a guy like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and they just told so many immaculate, perfect stories in all of their matches. And I feel like the only rivalry in recent memory for me that comes close to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, just off of the hatred alone, for me, is Edge and Cena. Outside of that, in terms of sheer hatred, I mean, that my favorite moment is that entire Triple H Shawn Michaels rivalry. That was just perfect. That whole rivalry was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Before I give my opinion, Andre76, appreciate you for commenting. Why is Triple H so underrated? Whoever wants to answer that question.
Majority of
You
people
know,
have him top 10, so I don't see how he's underrated.
I mean, in my
I
humble
think
opinion, go ahead.
I'll let you go, champ. I'll let you go, champ.
To be honest with you, I think people undermine him just a little bit simply because he's in the family. That's how I feel. I think people undermine him. But the thing is, before he was ever in the damn family, remember in 1999, he wasn't no joke back then either. You know, he was in the title picture back then. And let's not forget, before he was a main event star for the WWE title, him and The Rock was having knockdown drag-out matches. He had a 3 Stages of Hell that ended in an hour draw against The Rock at Fully Loaded. Mm-hmm. Not to mention that SummerSlam ladder match where he finally won back the Intercontinental title. So, I mean, I think a lot of times, especially in the wrestling world, people want to undermine Triple H because, you know, he married to the family or whatever. But the thing is, even before that, he had talent. Even before that, he was considered one of the top. Remember, and I hate to bring this up, PSP, it wasn't supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was supposed to be.
I was gonna bring that up. I'm glad you mentioned that. The curtain call.
Yeah, because of the curtain, and all because of the curtain call, and Nash and Hall leaving the WWE. Did he not?
Shawn was the champion.
Right. So you have to ask yourself, what if the WWE and Vince McMahon had pulled that trigger and just said, you know what? To hell with the curtain call. We still gonna pull the trigger. You got to ask yourself, what if they went on ahead and pulled the trigger because they was willing to pull it prior to that at this point.
You know what Triple H recalled what Vince told him about the curtain call? I don't know if you saw the A&E biography on DX. You know what the famous quote Triple H recalled?
You're gonna have to eat, you know what, and like the taste of it for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he did. I mean, he endured a lot. I mean, I remember, man, during a moment in time, Triple H was just flat out getting squashed by a multitude. I mean, it just went on. It just went on and on and on. It's like, and after a while, you start like, damn, Triple H ain't won a good match in a good while. And thankfully, he had the talent, and they was able to bring him back. I mean, he was with the most talented guys that revolutionized wrestling for a reason, you know. And you have to ask yourself, I mean, if it wasn't for Triple H in the first place, there wouldn't be an NWO, if you really want to be honest, because guess what? Mm-hmm. All of those groups, DX and the NWO, are just spinoff from the Clique. They're just spinoffs from the Clique.
How do you accuse you get on Michigan for cheating, but I feel like you cheated. Are you reading my playbook? Are you reading my notes?
I'm not reading anything.
I got all this stuff written down, and then you taking all my ideas. But go ahead. I'll let this slide, champ.
You know, just a little bit of Professor X here and there. But yeah, all of that was based on the Clique. So I mean, so without Triple H, there would not be a DX. There wouldn't be an NWO. And man, let's not forget the Too Sweet sign, man. You know, we saw that even prior to the NWO. So I mean, hey man, look, and not to mention, hey, look at what he did with NXT. That just goes to show you how great of a mind that he has. You know, so I mean, and the evolution of his character, you know, going from Terror Rising all the way up to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Blue Blood, then being in DX, then being one of the biggest heels, arguably, since Ric Flair. I mean, when you go to top heels, I put him and Reign right there with each other because they know how to be heels. But man, Triple H is something special, man. I think he's underrated simply because a lot of people undermine him because he married in the family. Which, if you got talent, which he shows now, in your body and your mind, it doesn't really matter where you marry or who you marry. It's like it shows in every single aspect of your being, and he's showing that not only in NXT, he's shown that in some of the writing that he's done in WrestleMania. This past WrestleMania, arguably the best WrestleMania of all time, courtesy of who? Triple H.
Triple H.
So
No question
I
about
just
it.
gotta say one thing. You were talking about top heels, Roman Reigns, Triple H. You gotta put this run in with The Rock, man. You gotta put this run in with The Rock. He's bringing back the Attitude Era. He brought it back, and he helped Cody Rhodes to become this huge baby face. You gotta bring it in here. If it wasn't for The Rock, I'm telling you, this WWE would not be where it is right now. The Rock's gotta start getting credit, man. You gotta start giving him credit. If it wasn't for the fans hijacking, The Rock taking the title, taking the opportunity away from Cody against Roman, we would never have heel Rock. We would never have that for Shotzi Rock. That Rock,
It was
man.
also great seeing Taker there as well too. That was also great. But Rock, definitely, him being a heel was a necessity because it definitely gave some excitement to the match. BRF, you were gonna say something on why you think Triple H either underrated or not?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, Champ really kind of like he really kind of laid it out there. He pretty much kind of hit it, tit for tat. Why a lot of people really underrate him. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely that. Him being married to Steph. But I mean, I think now people seeing the way he's doing as far as like being the head, the booker, the head of creative, basically what you say for WWE nowadays, seeing his mind go to work and seeing the gears turn and just his just flat out ability to nail long-term storytelling is something I don't think I have ever seen in professional wrestling. I mean, his ability, like his ability to do a callback here, a callback there. It's like other guys, they'll have this great rivalry before, like he was really doing the booking, and then next thing you know, it's like we're not even talking about it anymore. But it's like a good example, like Carmelo, like I don't know if he told Carmelo Hayes to really say anything about it, but Carmelo Hayes debuts on SmackDown. He was first round draft pick of SmackDown. He goes in, the fans started chanting, whoop that trick at him. And then Carmelo Hayes kind of looked at him and was like, yeah, I already did. And it's like, he's like, even if he's not telling them, it's like you just see like the callbacks and being able to just kind of keep hot stuff going. And he's just a master that I think fans are really now starting to truly appreciate the mind that he is and really has always been. And I definitely think to be as successful as he was, I definitely don't think a lot of people put him up with the higher echelon as they should, because a lot of moments are because of him. A lot of the greatest moments in the history of the WWE are because of him. Like it's like whether it's the initial Stephanie McMahon going heel and joining up with him, or the two-man power trip forming, or Madison Square Garden, January 2002 when he comes back, and just so many ridiculous moments that have happened because of him. And it's just, I really feel like I'm ready for him to, like, I know he's technically a Hall of Famer already because of D-Generation X. I'm ready for him to get that solo, that being that main centerpiece of the WWE Hall of Fame, so he can just finally get the admiration from everybody that he deserves. Because I think he's really, really, truly starting to get his flowers. But when that Hall of Fame comes and he's the centerpiece of it, the way like Paul Heyman was this year, I thought that was one of the coolest Hall of Fames of all time, having somebody like Paul Heyman as a centerpiece. When Triple H finally gets that, I mean, it's gonna be so well deserved because he's just been such a cornerstone for the business, for the WWE, and just I'm happy that man's getting his flowers because he has put in serious work, and that man should be praised for everything that he's done.
I'm kind of mad because Champ stole most of my thunder. I had all these notes right over here. I had all this preparation. I was gonna bring up the curtain call, but because it's Champ, I got too much love for him. Yes, I would say my favorite Triple H one of my favorite Triple H moments was when Shawn Michaels departed, because it gave Triple H the opportunity for him to be a main event type of guy. To Champ's point, the curtain call. It was orchestrated for Triple H to win King of the Ring. 3/4 of the clique were not punished. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, they were not punished because they received and accepted offers to go to Ted Turner's WCW. Okay, Shawn's the champion, so they couldn't do anything about it except give Shawn a warning. Hey, Shawn, don't ever let that happen again. As for Hunter, again, to the quote from Vince, you're going to have to learn how to eat bleep and like the taste of it. And he took a huge creative hit. And Jim Ross actually told him, he gave him some advice. You know, you're going to have to throw water underneath the bridge. Maybe you may want to like reinvigorate or reinvert yourself. I'm paraphrasing when I'm using that term. I think a great match for Triple H. What about the one WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar? That was really a good match, though, between
WrestleMania 29.
Yeah. And, I'm quite sure y'all remember, Champ. I know you remember that match. That was a really good match because I almost thought Brock Lesnar was going to tap when he put Brock Lesnar on Lesnar's signature move, the Kimura. And then Paul Heyman tried to interfere, get the chair, and then Shawn, of course, with the sweet chin music. It just seemed like I felt like Triple H was going to make him tap out. But 2004. Remember when Randy Orton defeated, obviously I can't mention his name because of SummerSlam 2004, but the night after. Remember when Randy Orton and then Triple H put the thumbs down and they start beating the bleep out of him? I mean, that was like Triple H, like when he was like in crazy like menace mode. But BRF, you also stole my thunder too. I was gonna bring up the Hell in the Cell match with Shawn Michaels.
No, it's me.
Like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said maybe I heard wrong.
No, BRF, because I swear they stealing all them notes and stuff. Bad Blood 2004. That was a hell of a match though between them. And then let's not forget 2005 WrestleMania. Remember when Batista, when he won the Royal Rumble, he could have accepted the offer to go to SmackDown and face John Bradshaw Layfield for the WWE Championship. And he put the thumbs down and decided to sign the contract to stay in Raw and then hit Triple H with a Batista bomb on the table. I think with Triple H, I mean, he's great as a heel, but he's also as great as a creative. Of course, he's learned from the business from his predecessor, of course, Vince McMahon. I don't think he doesn't get enough credit because, to Champ's point, yes, he is a part of the McMahon family. Still in all, it doesn't take away who he is and what he's accomplished. Two things could be true. He's in a unique situation because of the McMahon family, their history, their heritage. But at the same time, Triple H is a student of the game when it comes to wrestling. And he and Shawn, they've doing outstanding work with NXT as far as the opportunities. I thought WrestleMania, that was great though. Although there was one thing I wish they could have added though, because I'm a Stone Cold guy. I wish Stone Cold Steve Austin would just came out of the arena, kind of like how he entered Backlash in 2000 when he just grabbed the chair and started hitting everyone, including Triple H. That's what I would have loved to see. But I think with Triple H, man, he's definitely getting his flowers. I mean, from Stone Cold Steve Austin Shawn Michaels, Taker, everyone else. They know what he is as far as like with the business of the game. And also, too, he had health issues as well. Given at the time, he was dealing with some heart problems at the time. So, Triple H, in terms of his perseverance, if there was one moment, one match I kind of look at with Triple H. Wow, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of them, but I would have to say, like my favorite Triple H match, 3 Stages of Hell with Stone Cold. To go through those types of obstacles against a guy like Steve, who at that point was the face of the company, I mean, that was hell. I mean, to go up against like that. But BRF, is there anything you want to add?
Yes. You brought up the Batista rivalry, a very underrated match that doesn't get the love that it absolutely deserves, I think. And I'm gonna give it to him. Hell in a Cell, Triple H Batista, Armageddon 2005.
Ooh.
Let me tell you something. And because this was still at the time, you know, people were still kind of questioning Batista as far as like, is he really the guy? Okay, he's beaten Triple H twice, but is he really gonna be that dude? Is Triple H really gonna pass the torch to this guy? Hell in a Cell, Armageddon 05 shut everybody up. That match was amazing, and it was like their willingness to take chances. The barbed wire chair. When have you seen that? A barbed wire chair. Batista hitting this man square in the face with a barbed wire chair. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, whipping each other with the chain, just what they did. I mean, that was a time where I feel like that was the time Hell in a Cell was at its like. I think the Hell in a Cell match has lost a lot of luster and a lot of its aura. And I mean, of course, yeah, you got like the PG era and all this stuff. But there was a time where the Hell in a Cell match was like the end all be all. Like if you had a blood feud and it was like they just couldn't keep their hands off each other. It was like, okay, that's it. I'm putting you in Hell in a Cell. We gonna end this. And it's just like the things that these people would just do to each other inside Hell in a Cell. Just, I mean, like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Mankind, and then just even the Triple H Chris Jericho one from I think it was Judgment Day 02. Even that one slept on. That was a good match too. That one slept on. But for me, Armageddon 2005 is so underrated because that was the full Triple H looking at Batista saying, "Okay, all right, I'm passing it to you. I want you to run with this. You about to carry Raw. I want you to run with this." That match was that was one of the most brutal, beautiful pieces of storytelling I've ever seen. And just Triple H understands, he understands, when it's time to tell a story. He understands when it's time to go, when it's time to really, really tell, like, his ability to put on really good violent matches, I think, is another thing that sets him apart too from a lot of the great from a lot of the bigger names out there. Just the dude is just Triple H, man. Triple H is just I can't say enough good things about the dude, bro. I just can't.
You're a legend. You're a legend, that's for sure. Mitch had to hop off the pod. We appreciate Mitch, man, for hopping on, man. Got a comment from our guy Brendan from the Block Podcast. He was like, "Yo, go check out and like and subscribe to the Throwdown Podcast. BRF, you guys hop on the podcast at least one time, man. I mean, a lot of great content from Champ, of course, Luis, Hot Take, Kenny, Broad. The list goes on and on." And of course,
hey, whenever he wants me on, whenever he wants me on, baby, I'm there. I am there.
We can do something. We'll definitely do something. And our last one right here, speaking of the West Coast, favorite Tupac song. Of course, there are a lot of great songs from the late MC. You got Brenda's Got a Baby. Keep Your Head Up, America's Most Wanted, Hail Mary, Dear Mama, Me Against the World, So Many Tears. I mean, we got but I gotta one of my favorite ones in a funny way. Remember the Friday After Next movie, and Terry Crews is sitting in the lounge, sitting in the living room, and they playing the "How Do You Want It" song by Tupac, and then he starts dancing and shit. Y'all remember that?
Terry Crews earned my full-on respect for that whole movie, bro. Oh my god.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Y'all need water? Y'all need
I'm good, bro. I'm good. But
I got
man,
a
you
bottle of wine right over here.
let me tell you something. I've never laughed so hard at a dancing scene in a movie in my life. I'm like, this big jacked up ex-football player literally dancing to Tupac like he in some club, and I'm just like, oh my god. Oh boy. Oh. But no, I can't. Hey, but I ain't mad at you though. How Do You Want It is classic. That's a classic song.
Yeah. Hey, never mind. Oh.
Oh.
You know what? I think both of y'all realize what I was about to say, but it's just like but yeah. Hey,
yo,
I will say this, man. Look, when they say the ladies love Tupac, they was not lying, man. And when I say all the ladies, I mean all of them, man. So, hey, man, big ups to the late great one. So, I mean, like I said, y'all know what I was about to say, but that was an epic video. That was real epic for various reasons.
Obvious reasons. Are we doing a podcast right now, or are we in Comedy Central?
I don't know, man. I don't know. No, it was just no. I mean, because Friday After Next is like Friday After Next is my favorite of the Fridays. It's my favorite, and just there were so many good performances in that movie. And Terry Crews is one of them that stand out. And the fact that you brought up that scene, and I'm just, I know, sports PSP about to have me pissing myself, bringing up that scene. I'm dancing in front of the TV. I'm like, no. No. I'm like, no.
Oh my
man.
Oh god. Okay. All right. Okay.
Y'all need your Bible?
Oh boy.
No.
No, I'm straight. No, I'm good. But God, that man got me crying on the podcast, bro. That joke was great. Oh. Okay. Boy. Okay. I'll say this. Yeah. For me, I was always like I was always a huge Tupac fan. But I remember the debates. Like it was always Tupac or Biggie, Tupac or Biggie, Tupac or Biggie, and I'm just like, I don't want to pick them both because I like them both. Tupac was the poet. Tupac was the storyteller. Tupac was the one that could paint the picture and put you where he's at, what he's talking about, and you can visualize everything that he's saying. Tupac was the storyteller. Biggie was the lyricist. They had their own things that they did that made them great. and I didn't really care for the comparison because I had the burnt CDs. I had like the greatest hits burnt CDs of both of them anyway, as far as like some of the greatest, their best songs. So I never really picked one. I just said Tupac's a better storyteller, Biggie's a better lyricist. Leave it at that. It ain't about who's a GOAT. They do what they do, in my opinion, at the time I felt like better than any rapper ever. So my favorite Tupac song. That's hard because I got a lot of them. And I still rock a lot of them because I still rock two of America's Most Wanted. I still rock that. I still rock Temptations. Temptations is an underrated song. What else is there? Yes. My favorite though is probably Dear Mama. My favorite is probably Dear Mama if I had to pick one, because that one was just, I mean, the beat was perfect, the tempo, the flow, everything was just, I mean, if you just wanted a perfect song, Dear Mama is a perfect song, because it was just, because you still had like the hardened aspects of him, you know, the thug aspects of him, but then you had the side of him that loved his mama and would go to war for his mama and would do unspeakable things to anybody for his mama, because that's how much he loved his mama. And it was just like, man, I mean, you know, us being, you know what I'm saying, us being, and especially like us being black men in America, to have a black man coming on there rapping about how much he loves his mama. I mean, that's like something you didn't always hear like that. And you got to give a man like that kudos and respect and admiration for being able to come out and give no F's talking about how much he loved his mama. And it's like you had his song and he had the Boys and Men song as well. Like, it's like, come on, you can't, stuff like that. You just can't. You can't put like a boundary or a limitation on stuff like that. So, and to this day, like if I have a cell phone, my mama, like my sister, uses that song for her ringtone for my mom, and I do it too. And I don't have it on this phone I have now, but I will. Every time I got my mom on the phone, the ringtone is gonna be that song. So it's just, yeah. If I had to pick one, it's that one. But that man has so many good songs. It was almost like, it's like the Michael Jackson one. The Michael Jackson, what we were talking about. They got too many songs to just pick one.
Absolutely, no question. Champ, did you give your song with Tupac?
Nah. First of all, a big shout out to the late great one, man. Hey, shout out to my older cousin, man, because he the first one who hooked me on Tupac, man. You know, older cousin, like a big brother to me. Shout out to my man Mike Davis, because there was these two particular songs that I loved, and hey, man, To Live and Die in LA made me want to go to LA. I've never been to LA before, but it makes me want to go there. But it's just like, even to this day, I said the first thing that I'm going to do if I ever go to LA and get off the plane is play that song. So To Live and Die in LA is a great song. Not to mention, man, people don't even realize, man, the beat that he was rapping over, man, and the sample that he did, you know, that was Prince, Do Me Baby, that he was rapping over. If you go back and listen to it, I mean, for him to do a song over a melody like that with that soft R&B beat and with that hardcore flow that Tupac had was nothing short of amazing, man. And, you know, I know this was a kind of a crazy song, but I'm not going to say the other one because, you know, but Against All Odds was one of the hardest ones. I mean, and I'm not going to tell any stories to you. I'm not going to tell no lie. I didn't realize that the guys who was talking about the song was real. I was so young at the time. I thought these were, you know, Pac was a good storyteller, so it's just like I'm thinking he talking about, some guys who he made up, but come to find out those guys was real. But like I said, I was so young. Hell, I was like 11 years old when Against All Odds came out. So man, to live and die in LA wanted me to go to LA, man. It wanted me to go to LA. I wanted to be in a Laker jersey watching, Nick Van Exel and those guys back then. I wanted to go to LA and check out the beaches. I wanted to check out Soul Train. That made me want to. I would say to live and die in LA, it was the only time in my history where I wanted to be in LA instead of my home state of Georgia. So to live and die in LA, and regardless of how, violent the song was, man, Against All Odds. And let's not forget just one more song, man, because I say it every time we at the end of a game, end of a football game, and the quarterback has to throw it up high. Hail Mary, one quick C. So, you can't leave out that one either, brother.
No, you can't. But other than How Do You Want It, that's like my favorite one. My other one from Tupac, I Get Around. The melody, the beat, makes you feel like summertime, hanging out, chilling out in the pool, being around beautiful women, kicking it with your homies, your friends, having some good barbecue, stuff like that, reminiscing on the good old days, playing dominoes, drinking. I mean, I Get Around. That's like the mood I want to be when anywhere I want to be, whether work, whatever. That's like one of my favorite tracks from Tupac as well. But How Do You Want It? Y'all were surprised when I brought up Terry Crews from that Friday after next scene. That was hysterical.
That was a good
Bruh, yeah, I'm telling you, man, folks just don't understand how funny and iconic that scene is from that movie. Folks just don't understand. Folks just don't understand.
Oh man.
Oh,
That
but
was
yeah, I'll add one thing real quick to this before we move. Yeah, like he brought up Hail Mary. I think, in my opinion, the greatest first verse to me in the history of hip hop is his first verse in Hail Mary. Like it just sets the full tone for that entire song. How you are like how dark the song already is, and the stuff. And on it, that whole Don Illuminati album was just basically was like one of the darkest things I've ever heard. But that verse in Hail Mary just set the tone, and it was just like, boy, I still don't think to this day there's another rapper that could ever get as deep as that man could when he really wanted to get in his bag. I still don't think there's another rapper that could ever get as dark and as deep as he could, like in his at his peak. He was just another level when it came to like storytelling like that. Oh boy,
Don't forget
Yeah.
Ambitious as a rider.
Yes, that one too. That's one of my favorite beats ever. Is Ambitions as a writer.
Remember how Mike Tyson, how he used to walk into the ring and when that song was playing?
Oh man.
Yes.
That makes you want to climb out the ring.
Mhm.
Boy. That Mike Tyson couldn't have picked a better song to walk out to, like straight up.
Yep. And I can't wait to see him versus Jake Paul. But that's a story.
I can't wait to see him kill him, but I digress.
Yeah. But Mike Tyson back in the 90s days, he and Pac, man, I mean, you get the king of rap with the king of boxing over there at that time. And also too, Mike Tyson, one of my favorite entrances from him, he was playing the Tupac song, other than Ambitious as a Rider, Road to Glory. That was the match in which he fought Frank Bruno. I think it was March of 1996. This is when he reclaimed the championship belt. after losing it to Buster Douglas 6 years after. So I mean, Mike Tyson back in them days, man. I just can't wait to see it. I just can't wait to see that boxing, man. But folks, that concludes the rest of the Sports PSP podcast, fellas. Appreciate Mitch Kovsky for hopping on to the podcast. Mitch, whenever you want to come back onto the pod, you're more than welcome. Appreciate people for chiming in, commenting. Of course, Brandon from the block as well, Jay Will, Chad, and all of them. Appreciate Casual for hopping into the pod. Fellas, any final words? And tell them where to follow y'all at.
Hey, first of all, man, PSP, there's a reason why I call this show the highlight of Friday night, man. And one day people go catch on to what I'm saying. Just like people call on the Hot Take Kenny. Everybody's been calling Hot Take Kenny ever since. Soon enough, they gonna call your show the highlight of Friday night. Mark my words. And it's always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on this show, man. Thank you for always inviting me on, man. Like I said, the highlight of Friday nights, man. Hey, I always know I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna talk sports with my brother PSP. So it's always an honor to be on here, man.
Always a pleasure having you on to the pod, my man. And BRF, tell them where to follow you at and any final words, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Always TikTok. The handle is at BRF Sports. Linktree, Big Sugar 1122 in the bio. Follow the TikTok, follow the Twitter, follow the Facebook, follow the IG. It is like, let me tell you something. When I first started this thing, man, I wasn't thinking I was going to get the following that I do have. I didn't think I was going to be able to hop on, hop in lives and hop on podcasts with other great sports content creators and be able to talk this and do this. And it's an honor to be able to share this with y'all and to be able to kind of, put faces to what we do and be able to grow this. Like, I know we're going to be able to grow this. And I just wish y'all nothing but the best success. Sports PSP, honor and a privilege to share the platform with you. Hey, it's like I always say, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. I stand by it. I live through it. And y'all just listen to me and y'all know this. We going to keep doing this for y'all and we going to keep repping it. And we ain't stopping. Ain't nothing stopping us. We going to take this to higher heights. Y'all bet on that.
Absolutely. We won't stop doing what we love to do, which is podcasts and, of course, entertain y'all. And y'all know me. Y'all know where to follow me at, folks. Sports PSP podcast. Please go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Already over 1,600 subscribers. IG Sports PSP as well as TikTok Sports PSP3. Go check out BRF Sports. It's particularly the short in which he did on Stone Cold and Turning Heel, in which he quoted Jim Ross by saying, "He sold his soul to Satan himself." Already over 10,000 views on YouTube. I mean, BRF, man. I mean, of course, he's been doing fantastic. And of course, Champ, as always, doing continuously great work as well. Please go follow him on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Go check out his podcast every Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He has a lot to say. I know he has a lot of NFL stuff to say about his Atlanta Falcons as well as BRF. And we're going to get into some more start benches and cuts. And the audience, if y'all want to come up with some ideas for the Sports PSP pod, let me know. But hope everyone's enjoying a fantastic weekend. I'm going to be chilling, playing some basketball, having me some good Angry Orchards. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and peace.